Hi, today we are working on Investigation 7, which is collecting data with surveys. You probably are familiar with the word survey. It is when information is gathered about a specific group. The group in a survey is also called a population. Sometimes when we're wanting to do surveys, we can't survey the entire population, and so we take what's called a sample. Rather than surveying the entire school, we may just take and do a sample of one class or students from each, one or two students from each class. So it makes it a smaller amount, and we can kind of assess the data at that point. One of the important things is that when we're creating surveys, we have to be mindful of what information we're looking for and also how we present the questions. Here's an example of a multiple choice and an open-ended survey. On a multiple choice, we have there, what is your favorite lunches in your school? Now, we did this recently. I can tell you that tuna was never on the list at our school, but somewhere in the world it may be. But their options are tuna, pizza, turkey, chicken. An open-ended question is, what lunch from the school menu is your favorite? Now, they could have 20 to 30 different options, so it would make it much more difficult to find one that was really popular. So I'd like you to first do a multiple choice question about this. Write 2 questions to find out students' favorite drink to have with lunch. Make one question multiple choice, and for the other, leave the question open. That means don't list the options. So I am going to pause this, and I want you to write it down on what you decided. Okay, I hope you've written something down. I have. The question that I created was, what is your favorite drink for lunch? And these are the options I gave: milk, chocolate milk, apple juice, or lemonade. If I were to ask an open-ended question, it would be simply, what's your favorite drink for lunch? Wow, favorite. These this does not write terribly fast. Drink for lunch. Now when you pose this, you're going to get a lot of answers. Whereas our first question, people will have 4 options. So that will kind of narrow down what's popular. Survey questions also should be without bias. Bias is when you or the surveyor has a specific opinion and they're trying to influence the outcome. An example of bias is this: which drink do you prefer? Cold, sweet lemonade, or milk that's warm and it's been left out for an hour? When I say the words cold and sweet, it shows that I have bias. The words cold and sweet bias the question to favor lemonade. So you have to make sure that in order for you to get an accurate assessment of what people think, you have to keep it very neutral. Cross off words to remove the bias. Which drink do you prefer? We would cross out cold, sweet, or milk, and we're going to just scratch that off. Or milk that's been left out of the refrigerator for an hour. When using a sample, remember, a sample is a smaller part of our population. The sample must be similar to the population. So when you survey students in your class, which of the following larger populations will your survey apply to most? Now, in our class, we have kids that are of a certain age group. So if we survey them, is what they say going to apply to, say, teenagers or adults? So which of the following larger populations will your survey apply to most? I would say that all of the students, if we were to say all of the students in the school, we could say no, the difference between ages is too great. And age tends to, our preferences tend to change as we age. B, all of the school children your age in your community. And we would say yes, this population is most similar to the sample because the ages and region are the same. So if we were to take a sample of our class and then we could apply it to everyone within every student that's in our grade within the area, it would be more, we could use that information. Now, C is all of the children your age in the country. Could we use the data from our class to apply to all of the students within the country? Probably not, and that is because the differences in regions might be too great. Now, things are not all the same here in Utah. Things in Utah are not all what it's like in California. It's not all what it's like in Minnesota or in Texas, that there are regional differences. So if we were to take the population, take our survey from right here and apply it to the whole United States, it might not be reflective of how kids in Texas would vote, or how kids in Minnesota would vote, or how kids in Washington State would vote. So we're just going to use our data for within our region. Now, would this work for all parents of the students in the class? Wouldn't that be great if we all saw eye to eye? But frankly, parents might make choices that are different than their children. And we realize that they would probably choose differently. And so we can't necessarily use that data. Moving on, when we're tracking data or we're doing a survey, we can create everything with a tally sheet. We make just little tally marks on our paper. You know that when we get to 5, we put a little mark across, and then we automatically can see, oh, that's 4. When we get to 4, we make a mark and we go, oh, that's 5. So this survey is going to be shocking because 9 people in their class like tuna. Yikes. According to the tally marks, how many students named tuna as their favorite? Yep, you heard it right. 9. Make a tally sheet to show favorite drinks to have with lunch. Write a multiple choice question, list the possible answers, and it says one choice may be no opinion. Sometimes people don't care, or sometimes you may write other, and you may have 3 options and it doesn't fit anything that the person really likes, and so they can opt for other. So I'm going to pause this. I'd like you to write, and I will do the same. Okay, I wrote my answer. Hopefully you've written yours. What is your favorite drink to have with lunch? I gave 4 options: milk, chocolate milk, water, and no opinion. And you are going to need to make your own kind of pretend survey. I'm going to say out of the 20 students that I have, the overwhelming vote here is going to be milk, and not just milk, chocolate milk. For regular milk, maybe I'll have 2. For water, I'm going to put 3. And for no opinion, probably 5 kids. Now, this is me making it up, but I would encourage you to survey your class or survey your home or pretend that, survey your family. Find out what grandma likes. When we're making these surveys, though, we have to make sure that we don't duplicate our data. Here's an example of duplicating data. Brad found that 11 students of his class had dogs, and Dina found that 9 students in the same class had cats. So Brad and Dina said 20 students in the class have pets. Now, is that right? Is this conclusion correct? No, it's not correct, because their conclusion might not be correct. Some students may have both dogs and cat and have both a dog and a cat for pet. Brad and Dina may have counted these students 2 times. Now, Brad and Dina also concluded that 20 students in the class have pets. Is this conclusion correct? Let's see. Is 20 students in the class have pets, not dogs or cats? They just said pets. Is this conclusion correct? No, their conclusion might not be correct. Brad and Dina did not count some students who may have other pets. So did they leave something out? Yes. When they leave something out, we call that omitting some key factors. Brad and Dina may have counted some students twice, 2 times. Those who have both cats, have a cat and a dog for pets. And that is the conclusion of our investigation. One thing that you need to know is surveys are really fun. It's really cool to see how people in large groups think. And when you organize this data, it's amazing what you can find. I would encourage you to make your own survey and conduct it within your family or within your neighborhood and share it with me.